we talked about what the Zach Wheeler's injury mean for this team and can they withstand it? Certainly it makes it much more difficult for the Phillies to make a run without Zach Wheeler. But go back to what I said on Friday. I think we've almost overlooked the importance of Trea Turner. And now not only do the statistics look phenomenal, but the number of meaningful hits and how he's really become a guy that you can lean on and rely on in clutch spots. They will not withstand this injury. I mean, if he does not play in the postseason, you can forget it. And I don't mean to come on here and be dramatic or like the Grim Reaper or anything like that, but this is just one they're not going to overcome this one.
No, because you don't have the depth at the position to overcome this one.
Like you can that's not a knock on Edmundo Sosa, and it's not a knock on the rest of the Phillies infield depth. But I mean, come on,
correct.
You're talking about a guy that, when it's all said and done, is really having like at worst, a top 10 MVP season in the NL right now.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. I think it becomes, as if it wasn't important enough already, it becomes paramount that they get this bye. And they have a 4-game lead over the Dodgers with 19 to play. You're probably not blowing that, but it's conceivable that it can go away.
Well, I would typically go with that in the math and the counting element of this, but number one, you have the Mets this week, and I know that it's not in New York, but it's the Mets, and I would like to see the Phillies compete against the Mets this week and not lose 3 out of 4. And, the other part of this is they got to go out to LA, and LA's pretty good at home, and I know that they've had a lot of problems. I want to talk about some of those problems in a little bit. But I mean, it's on the table for them to lose this lead. It would not take an act of God for that to happen.
No, but it's what I'm saying is that the math is in their favor.
Sure.
Right. So, but it becomes paramount to not lose it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Let me ask you this.
You buy yourself an extra week.
Yeah. And do you think that they would be? I think the answer to this is yes. Would they be more inclined to push him and say, look, maybe you're only 85%. You may be more susceptible to re-injury here than you otherwise would be if we were more cautious, but it's the playoffs. We're going to give this a go. I mean, that is what will happen here, correct?
Probably.
Assuming that he can run, I'm not assuming that he can do some things athletically, but the question is, can he hit that extra gear the way that Trea Turner can and be a threat on the bases and go first to third? And can he do the things that you expect him to do? That's one part of it. The other part of it is you're talking about guys played really good baseball right now. He's been pretty locked in at the plate too. What does it do for him if he's out for 20 days and he does get back in time, but he's kind of in a reset now?
Yeah. There's a lot of variables that can come into play here. And you wonder about the impact, Bob. Like, let's just say, let's play this game with me. It's a mild hamstring injury. He does have to do an IL stint, but only the 10 days, maybe an extra day or two, whatever. And he's able to come back final week of the regular season and kind of, get back into it a little bit. Okay, fine. Is he the same hitter he was before getting hurt? It does. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he patient? Is he get back to being a patient hitter?
Right. I think that's the question. It's not that can he be physically ready to go, but is he in that same, is he as dialed in? Is he patient, or is he offering and overcompensating and looks more like the hitter that was essentially out of control in the playoffs last year?
Correct.
Is he able to kind of keep that same profile? Because I think he has just reached a place of, I don't want to project too much, but I think when I watch him, he just looks like a guy that is in complete command of his game plan and execution at the plate. It's not, well, he had a 2 home run night and then you don't hear from him for a week and he has 4 hits. It's like, this is his game plan. He has embraced it and he's been consistent with it. And it's not a matter of just, can I get it back physically, but it's, can I reimmerse myself in that pattern of behavior and that approach at the plate? And I think that that's a big wild card in this, assuming that he gets back. And if he doesn't get back, then I wonder too, just from a baseball standpoint, it becomes like markedly more difficult to win without him. But then at what point too do players start to look around at one another and go like, okay, we lost Zach. We've played really well despite that. We've been able to weather that storm so far. We're okay. We can still win. But do you just get to a point where you go, well, now Trea's down and he's not coming back. Maybe the stars just aren't aligned for us this year. I don't think that they're that type of team that would like put their tail between their legs and say it's just not meant to be and fold. But, the vibes for me, like with this team have been really good lately. Like that's the one big difference for me. I still think they have all the issues and all the problems. And I think all the skepticism that we've had for a lot of the year is still warranted, but it's starting to feel a little bit different. And I just wonder what this injury does to that feeling too.
Yeah, I do as well. And I have a hard time less about, okay, Edmundo Sosa's the replacement player. Fine. Like Edmundo Sosa's a fine player. That's not the thing. It's not like I'm sitting there going, well, he's just not good enough and then they're going to fail. I think that the way that the Phillies lineup is constructed and how it's operating and how it's been operating with Turner at the top is what impacts this, right? Because now you need, and Amadeo points this out, and it says, now you desperately need Schwarber and Harper to break out of their slumps. I don't know if Harper's in a major slump. He's not producing as much as everybody expects him to do, but Schwarber's certainly in a slump. How do you, who do you put? There's no other right-handed bat to put in the top third of the lineup. That's the problem.
There is not.
Right? That's the real issue here. And they're going to try.
You see, they kind of like snuck Bone back up there the other day. I'm like, please don't. I can't. And just more ground balls to shortstop. I just can't do it.
No, it shouldn't be Bone. Like, but then again, like, who is it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. Do you put Real Muto between? I mean, Schwarber probably becomes your leadoff hitter again.
Let me just throw this out here. Bryson Stott, his last 30 games is a 373 on base percentage. Is it time?
But are you going lefty? That's
no. Not only am I not doing that, I also don't want to mess with Bryson Stott at this point. I'm not suggesting that Bryson Stott is a fragile creature who will implode if you put more on his plate here going down the stretch. But Bryson Stott has salvaged his season. We're talking about Bryson Stott as potentially being unplayable 2 months ago, like to the point where, hey, like ahead of the deadline, we're like, look, man, like, we all love Bryson Stott and the defense is wonderful and all of that, but how much longer can we really do this?
Can you maybe do? Here's the thought.
So here's my question: can you put Bader in like a 2 spot
and go Stott? Could you potentially do this? Can you go potentially Stott, Real Muto, Schwarber, Harper? Or Harper, Schwarber. I would keep Schwarber ahead of Harper, but that's just me.
I don't know. I mean, not to say that he can't handle it, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm just saying, like that to me is the only other alternative. If you want to, if otherwise you're gonna really shorten that lineup. You're gonna really shorten the lineup. Like I'm okay. Like I'm okay if you go. If like all of a sudden you're now Schwarber's 3, Harper's 4, Bader 5, Marsh 6, and then like, okay, you're still getting some of that length out of the lineup, the way that those guys are hitting it towards the bottom. But at the same time, if you don't do that, if you got to lead off Schwarber and put right-hander that you don't want to put at number two, and then, Harper's 3. Now what are you doing?
Right.
Like that's where I feel like this injury affects them the most.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Edmundo Sosa. Nothing at all to do with Edmundo Sosa. Edmundo Sosa's fine. You could. If there was an injury to anybody, like we were having this conversation about the way they were batting Bohm 8th. Remember we talked about this on Friday that. Might we see more Edmundo Sosa at third base? Like, it wouldn't matter to me if Edmundo Sosa's in the lineup batting 8th or 9th or whatever in your lineup. That I'm okay with. It's irrelevant. it's not about him. It's about how the top of your lineup is kind of now impacted.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the question, I mean, they have games they have to win here down the stretch. They haven't done what they've needed to do yet, and so this conversation to me though is about October. Like the next 3 weeks, if he misses 12 games, then so be it. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I say that now, and I mean, if they tank, then I'm going to say, well, you know, that conversation that we had that Monday on September 8th, that turned out to be, pretty crucial when I'm sort of dismissing it. But I'm looking at it more from the postseason perspective.
For sure.